Hi everyone, Stephen Fenech from Tech Guide here, and I'm sitting inside my Tesla Model S 75D. I've had it about a month now, and I'm going to talk to you about why I decided to buy a Tesla. So here we go, I'm going to take you through the 10 reasons why I bought a Tesla Model S. Reason number one, electric. It's an electric car. That's probably the most obvious thing. It was a big shift. A lot of people ask me, are you comfortable driving an electric car? What happens if you run out of battery? Well, my response is, well, what happens when you run out of petrol? You need to fill up. If you're low, you go and fill up. If I'm low, I charge up. So that was a question I was often asked. But obviously, being an electric car, don't need petrol, zero emissions, it's quiet. I've got to actually be careful driving, especially in shopping centre car parks where people are walking, looking at their phone, and they don't hear the car behind them. So I think as a Tesla driver, you really need to be careful that other people know you're there. They don't walk in front of you, so you've got to really be on your guard. The Tesla, I think, is the first real example of an electric car that is a viable option for drivers. It doesn't look like a Golf buggy like past electric cars did. This is a stylish car, a powerful car. Well, I'll get into those reasons a little bit later, but the reason to go electric, that was one of the reasons, not the main reason for me, but I'm thinking, hey, if I'm not having to pay for petrol anymore, that can't be a bad thing. I can see that petrol prices are on the rise continually, so I'm out of that now. I'm driving an electric car. Number two, technology. Well, it comes as no surprise that a car filled with this much technology would appeal to me. I'm a technology journalist, so having all this tech around me in the car is really attractive. The car is a technological marvel. It's incredible. The first time I sat in a Tesla more than a year ago, it was remarkable that everything is controlled from this big 17-inch display. There's only two buttons in the car. There's a button to open the glove box and a button for the hazard lights. The rest of the controls are here on the wheel, on the stalk, but everything is controlled through this massive screen. So that's one of the things that attracted me to buying a Tesla, was just the amazing technology in the car. I always said that Tesla's doing to cars what Apple did to smartphones. They're bringing these amazing features to the car that's all controlled through the amazing technology that's built in. There's no shortage of things that continue to surprise and delight me about this car. Okay, reason number three, performance. Now, everyone thinks, well, electric car, they don't really rate it as a car that performs really well. Well, it's obvious the minute you set foot inside this car that this is a car that has got incredible performance. It's, I think, the fastest production car in the world. This car goes from 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds. If you're driving the P100D, I think that comes down to 2.6 seconds. So 2.7 seconds, I think that is. So that's pretty incredible performance. And anyone who's ever driven one or been a passenger in a car, they have instant torque. So you're not revving up to go to a speed, you are instantly moving, and it really throws you back in the seat once you put your foot down. So that is another amazing reason, and probably the biggest thing that impresses people when they get in the car, when you put your foot down and you get that acceleration, it is remarkable. And number four, low cost of ownership. In this car, in any Tesla, there are only 15 moving parts. So that means you got no oil, no filters, none of those parts and problems that you have with an internal combustion engine. So the cost of ownership for this car is pretty low, and throw in the fact that you're not paying for petrol anymore either. The other thing too is that one thing I've noticed about it is that the car actually has regenerative braking, which means that I drive a fair amount without actually having to touch the brake. The minute you take your foot off the accelerator, the car slows right down. So that's going to really save on your brake pads. And as I understand, brake pads on a Tesla will last about 160,000 kilometers. So that's a few years driving before you even have to worry about your brake pads, which on other cars can be significant. Number five, free charging. When I bought the Tesla, I used a referral code, so that allowed me to have free supercharging for the life of this car. Now, if anyone wants to have that same free supercharging, if they are buying a Model S or Model X, here is my referral code. So if you want to use my referral code to give you free supercharging, that's the only way you can get it, with that referral code. So mine is here. Feel free to use it if you're buying a new Model S or Model X. But the free charging at the superchargers is handy, and superchargers are only designed to be used if you're going on a journey. Tesla says that 90% of owners charge at home. I have a charger here at my place. I charge it up overnight, so when I drive out of my driveway, I've got a full battery. So superchargers are designed for people to reach destinations. So if you're on a long road trip, there are superchargers at least 200 kilometers apart for you to charge up along your way. The car actually tells you and directs you. If you put in your navigation, it does give you those directions to a supercharger. So that is really handy. There's also a lot of destination chargers. So you may find in shopping centers, in hotels, car parks, there are places where while you're parked, you can charge your car as well. But for the majority of owners, me included, I've got a charger right here at home, so I can charge my car in my driveway. So really, that adds to that low cost of ownership, the fact that you've got free supercharging for the life of the car if you use a referral code. And if anyone who wants to use mine, feel free to go ahead. It's in the description below, and it was also here on the screen. Number 6. Enhanced autopilot and self-driving. The car that I'm sitting in right now, my 75D, has all the hardware necessary for it to drive itself. It has got all the hardware necessary for enhanced autopilot as well. The only thing it needs is the software upgrade. So that's part of Tesla's deal, is it you can tick that box when you buy the car and have that software already installed, or you can choose to install it to have it later. I decided to have it later. It was going to save me a little bit of money when I bought the car. So I decided that I'm happy to wait for enhanced autopilot. I'll probably pay for that upgrade later this year. But this car, when those features are activated, enhanced autopilot is available now. Self-driving, well, that's down the track, but not available as yet through government regulations and all these things we need to wait for. So that is coming, but it's a great feeling to know that all the hardware necessary to make that a reality is right here already. And if anyone who's experienced enhanced autopilot in a Tesla, it's designed mainly for freeway driving, expressway driving. And you do have to keep your hands on the wheel, but the car can accelerate, decelerate, keep a distance between you and the next car, steer even on those freeways as well. So the car's basically driving itself in that case, but you still need to keep your hands on the wheel. If you don't, the car starts to nag you a little bit, and eventually if you disobey that, if you keep your hands off the wheel for an extended period of time, the car will actually slow down and eventually come to a stop. So you do need to keep your hands on the wheel. Tesla says that it's an assistant to the driver. It helps the driver rather than takes over from the driver. So you still got to keep your wits about you, keep your hands on the wheel, be ready to take over at a moment's notice. But number 7, software updates. Now this kind of fits in the technology category. Whenever my car's parked here in the driveway, it connects to my home Wi-Fi network. So occasionally I receive a notification on the phone's app, the companion app, that there's a software update available. So you come into the car and you hit, install now, and then an hour later you get a notification say that the software has been updated, and then you go in your car and then suddenly your car's got all these new features. The most recent update happened just a few days ago, and it allowed me to be able to set speed limits on my car. So if I'm going to lend my car to someone, or one of my kids is going to drive my car, I'll just say I'm going to set the limit at a certain point and they can't go over that limit. There's also a valet mode, which means that they can only go up to a certain speed. They can't open any of the glove box or open the front trunk or the back. So there's all those features as well. Another recent update was for enhanced autopilot, which allowed you to display on the front here, on the front display, it not only showed you the cars ahead of you, but also the cars in either lane. So that was sort of a little bit of an update there as well. But the day that I bought the car, they said something that may seem strange to another car owner. They said, this day that you're driving this car away is the worst the car's going to be. And I thought, well, how's that? Well, they said, because with all the updates that you get, the car improves over time. Now, there aren't many cars that can say that. So having those software updates really was an attractive feature to me, and one of the many reasons why I decided to purchase a Tesla in the first place. Another example of a great software update was, it occurred a few years ago when the older Model S and the Model X was actually made a second faster from 0 to 100 just because of a software update. That's pretty impressive. Happy for that to happen again, but 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds, that's still pretty good. But it's just another example of how the car improves over time with these regular updates. The other thing too is that part of the software is the app, the companion app of the Tesla. It allows you to see where your car's parked, the charge level, allows you to control the car remotely too. If you've got enhanced AutoPilot, you can even summon the car. So you can move the car using your phone. You can, if it's a hot day, for example, you can turn on the air conditioning before you even get back to the car because the car has a built-in SIM card. Number 8, design and finish. Obviously, one of the reasons why I bought the car is because I love the look of the car. The design is really sporty, it looks really sleek, and the one thing about the car is there are things, no radiators, no exhaust, so it sort of gave the designers a little bit of freedom to create a sleek looking car. Even inside the car, it's really well finished, and the design and finish, the whole quality of the car really impressed me. And I'm coming from driving a Mercedes-Benz. I'm used to having high quality finish in a car, and I haven't been disappointed by the Tesla. I have read the reports in the past of poor quality, panel alignments not being 100%, but that was a couple of years ago. I have noticed in the time I've been driving Teslas, even before I bought my own, that the design and the finish has improved drastically. The car I'm sitting in right now, there isn't a flaw in the car. The design of the car, everything's all lined up, the panels are aligned, the trims are all aligned. So I think that was a problem in the past for Tesla, but not today. I can tell you the car is finished really nicely, the quality is really high. I've even had a tour of the factory in Fremont. I did a tour a few weeks ago, and their standards are really high. So that's reflected in the car that I'm sitting in today, and another one of the reasons why I decided to buy a Tesla in the first place. Number 9, safety. That's a very important feature in a car, that it's safe. And again, from my driving a Mercedes-Benz, they were known to be extremely safe cars. Well, the Tesla is actually a safer car. It's the safest car in the world. Now, it has a very low center of gravity because the battery actually makes up the base of the car. So there's a very low risk of a rollover in event of an incident. The other thing too is that there's no engine. So there's no engine block to worry about. So there are crumple zones in the car. There's also boron steel rails at the front of the car, in the back of the car, and boron actually making up the pillars of the car. Now, when I was on the Tesla factory tour, they told us about the safety testing of the car. And one test is to test the rollover strength of the car, just to make sure it can withstand a rollover. So they have a machine where they place the car, and the machine, to test the strength of the pillars of the car, actually broke in testing. Number 10, it's a movement. The love for the Tesla brand, I've found, is up there with people's love of Apple. Apple attracts a lot of really loyal customers, and I found that Tesla is kind of in the same boat. Anyone who owns a Tesla, they feel they're part of this group. They're part of a group of people who are driving this extraordinary vehicle with extraordinary features, great safety features, and whenever we bump into each other at superchargers, we're chatting to each other. So it's become a little bit of a club being a Tesla owner. You do feel like you're part of a group. We're driving a car that's really shaken up the motor industry. The motoring industry hasn't changed for 100 years, and here comes this brand that totally turns it on its head. And to be part of that is pretty special. And talking with other drivers and other owners, they feel the same sort of pride in driving a car that's kind of trying to change things for drivers all around the world. Well, there they are. They're my top 10 reasons for buying a Tesla. I'd like to hear from you. Please leave a comment below if you already are a Tesla owner or thinking of buying a Tesla. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think. What are the reasons why you decided to get behind the wheel of a Tesla like I did? Feel free, of course, to use my referral code for those thinking of buying a Model S or Model X. Use my referral code. That'll get you free supercharging. That is the only way you can get free supercharging, if you use a referral code. And my referral code is in the description below and also here on the screen. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.